Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The sound of shattering glass cut through the restaurant like a gunshot. My wife froze mid-laugh, her wine glass slipping from her trembling fingers. Red liquid bled across the white tablecloth, mirroring the color rising in my chest as I turned toward the man standing far too close behind her. He was tall, sharply dressed, with the kind of smirk that screamed entitlement. His hand was still on her shoulder when he said it. "She's mine." The words didn't echo, they detonated. I didn't remember moving, only the crash of a chair as I stood, the sting of adrenaline hitting my throat, the faint taste of copper. My vision narrowed on his hand, the way his fingers pressed into her silk blouse, the glint in his eyes as if daring me to respond. "Take your hand off her," I said, my voice low, almost calm. Too calm. He smiled wider. "Relax, she doesn't seem to mind. Do you, Claire?" Her lips parted, but no words came. Her silence was gasoline on an open flame. 10 minutes later he couldn't stand. Let me rewind, because stories like this never begin in restaurants under chandeliers and wine. They begin quietly, in small dismissals and innocent explanations that you tell yourself not to question. It started 3 months earlier when Claire got her promotion. "Ethan," she said one night, glowing with excitement, "I'll be working directly under Mr. Larson now. He's demanding but brilliant. This could change everything for us." I remember hugging her, proud but uneasy. Larson, her boss, was a name I'd heard whispered before. The kind of man who commanded attention, who didn't just lead a company but a room. Married twice, divorced twice, powerful, charming. Dangerous. The first warning sign came weeks later. She started staying later at the office. "He needs me to finish reports before morning meetings," she'd say, her eyes darting just past mine. "He trusts me." Trust. That word stung now. At first, I told myself I was being insecure. I cooked dinner, waited for her texts, reminded myself she loved me. But her phone began to face down more often. She laughed at messages she wouldn't share. And when she did come home, she smelled faintly of cologne that wasn't mine. Still, I didn't accuse. I rationalized. Maybe Larson used the same brand as me. Maybe the long hours really were just work. Until the night she came home wearing a dress I hadn't seen before. New outfit. I asked, keeping my tone casual. "Office gift," she said too quickly. "For the staff dinner." "From Larson." She blinked. "From the company." But I could see the tag still tucked into the fabric. And it wasn't from any corporate store. The company dinner was held at a high-end restaurant downtown. Claire begged me to come. "Please, Ethan. I want you to meet him, to see how much he's helped me. He's been so good to me." I should have said no. But curiosity is its own kind of poison. When we arrived, Larson greeted everyone personally. His eyes swept across the crowd before landing on Claire. That look, possessive, lingering too long, made my stomach twist. "Claire," he said, walking over, his voice rich with amusement. "You look stunning." His hand brushed her back, fingers grazing just above the fabric line. I watched her tense but say nothing. "And this must be Ethan," he said, turning to me with a politician's grin. "You must be proud of your wife. She's the best part of my team." He extended a hand. I shook it, firm but cold. "Always have been." The rest of dinner felt like a play where everyone knew their lines except me. Larson's laughter dominated the room. Claire's eyes flickered nervously between us. Every time he spoke, she leaned slightly forward, as if afraid to miss a word. Then came the wine. Too much of it. Larson insisted on toasting her dedication. And when the applause ended, he whispered something in her ear that made her blush. I told myself I was imagining it. Until I went to the restroom and came back early. They were standing by the window, his hand on her waist. Her voice trembled as she said, "Someone will see." And he said, "Let them." The glass broke before I even realized I dropped mine. The whole room went silent. "She's mine," he said again, louder this time, eyes locked on me like it was a challenge. For a second I saw nothing but red. My chair screeched backward. I hit him once. Hard. The sound of his jaw cracking under my fist felt wrong but justified. He staggered, still smirking through the blood. "Guess I touched a nerve," he spat. I hit him again. And again. Until the smirk disappeared. Until he hit the floor and didn't get up right away. The restaurant manager rushed in. Claire screamed my name. Someone called for security, but I couldn't stop shaking. I didn't even look at Larson anymore. I looked at her. Was he lying? I asked. Her eyes filled with tears, but she said nothing. That silence was my answer. Hours later at home, the house felt like a stranger's. Claire sat at the kitchen table, mascara streaked down her cheeks. I didn't mean for it to happen, she said quietly. It started as work. He was kind, supportive, and I felt seen again. I leaned against the counter, every nerve screaming. So you let him touch you? I tried to stop it, but I didn't. I was weak. I kept telling myself it was just admiration. But he took advantage, Ethan. He used me. Her words didn't soothe me. They twisted the knife. You let him, I whispered. And then you defended him. She sobbed. I'm sorry. I thought I was losing you and he made me feel wanted. There it was, the truth, naked and cruel. I walked to the window, watching the streetlights blur through my tears. I wanted to hate her, to throw her out. But all I felt was exhaustion. I defended you tonight, I said. Even when he claimed you in front of everyone. I still wanted to believe you. She stood slowly. Ethan, please. I turned. You let a man touch you and call you his, and you didn't even flinch. That wasn't weakness. That was choice. Her sob broke something inside me. I walked past her toward the door. Where are you going? She whispered. To remember who I was before you forgot who we were. They told me later Larson was pressing charges, but then dropped them after the company board learned of his conduct. His career was over. Claire moved out a week later. She left a note saying she'd never stop loving me. I didn't believe her. Sometimes when I drive past that restaurant I can still see it, the red wine spilling across the tablecloth, the way she froze when he said the words. She's mine. He was wrong. She never belonged to him. But that night I realized she didn't belong to me anymore either.